I know. I'm not that kind of girl.
Good evening. I call this meeting to order and welcome to the City Council meeting of May the 24th.
I'll stand up for you. That wouldn't.
Madam Clerk, would you read the roll call, please?
Mr. Cannell, Mr. Shyland,
Yeah.
Ms. Gray,
Here.
Mr. Moore, Ms. Reclue,
Present.
Mr. Shiverdecker,
Here.
Mr. Vaughn,
Here.
Mr. West,
Yo.
6 council members present, 2 absent.
He said very good. If you'd rise with me, Pastor Bruce Williams is with us this evening, and he will lead us in the invocation. Thank you, sir.
Yes, privilege, sir. Dear Lord, I want to express thanks first for the rain that we had this morning. Living in a farming community like we do, so important that our farmers get off to a good start with their crops in the fields, and I thank you, Lord, for rain and promise of more in the night and day tomorrow. We're grateful, Lord, again for the community that we live in and those that lead us and oversee the community's work and progress each day. For our city government, mayor and council persons, and all those who lead this city, Lord, it is a regular prayer for us that you continue to anoint them and keep them moving forward, doing the work that you've called them to do on behalf of we, the people. I thank you, Lord, for those that come to share in the city's work and those on the program tonight, that you'll bless the interchanges, Lord, and any decisions that are made, that they would be pleasing to you. I lift up and continue to pray for those within the city family, and it's very important that we do. Remember Miss Bush-Jost and Gabriel Polston, Mayor Benton, Chief Myers, Mr. and Mrs. Reclue, Mr. Chyland, Bill Laswell, and any and all others that are part of our city family that need your touch day to day. My final prayer is, Lord, with the school terms finished and Memorial Weekend, which is the first long weekend of the summer vacation period, I pray, Lord, for the motoring public, those that will be traveling, and I pray, Lord, for our police officers and public safety that will be seeing that the traveling public is safe. Bless them as they serve us, and help us all, Lord, to look out for our children. This is a busy time with lots of activities outdoors, and the streets are full of skateboards and bicycles. It's all of us, our responsibility to keep our children safe. Help us, Lord, in the work that you've called us to do as people of faith and family. Watch over this session. Bless the work that's done here tonight, and we'll give you the praise and thanks for it all. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
Very good. At the beginning of every council meeting, we've set aside a time for comments from visitors who have a concern with operations within the city that they'd like to share with the council. And we just ask that you give us your name and your address and limit your comments to 5 minutes. And again, this is for anyone that's not already on the agenda. So at this time, my call is anyone present who would like to address the council on an issue of concern. Seeing no one coming forward, we'll move on to the presentation and approval of the council minutes from April the 26th. Is there any addendums or corrections to those minutes? And if not, I'd entertain a motion for approval. Approval?
Second.
Very good. I have a motion and a second for approval of the April 26th minutes. Any discussion of that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
And those opposed, no. Okay, very good. April 26th minutes stand approved. We'll now entertain the May 10th minutes, which are also in your council packet. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second. Thank you. I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the May 10th meeting. Is there any further discussion of the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Very good. Thank you. We'll now consider the financial reports for the month of April. I believe Mrs. Holslag is with us this evening. She's coming forward to update us. Thank you.
We've now recorded 3 months of sales tax. We're 2% ahead of where we were in the same period last year. And I made note of the fact that April was a 3 payroll month, so expenses for every fund are proportionally higher. I've tried to make note of anything unusual or out of the ordinary in the notes. I will tell you I'm watching the health fund. We have a several $100,000 cushion in that fund. But I'm keeping my eye on it because we've had a couple months of losses consecutively, so.
We just have someone that's got a big illness or?
We've had some losses.
Yeah. Okay.
Lot of rain.
May I?
Yes,
Obviously, since the new sales tax just got approved in early April, nothing's here yet.
it will
be
start in October,
October, right?
and
Okay.
that will be a restricted fund.
Right.
All those monies, it will be just like the sewer capital improvement fund. I have to set up a new fund, and those monies will go in there.
That's good.
And you'll report out on those when we probably
And I'll
November-
add that to
probably
the
November,
report.
December, we'll start hearing about those.
Yeah, well, if it's, yeah,
that-
it
or is that
probably
a
will be
quarterly one?
December.
Yeah. Okay.
There will be some monthly payers, so.
Okay. Thank you. I move for approval.
Second?
Thank you. I have a motion and a second to approve the financials for the month of April. Is there any further discussion, motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. Okay. Thank you very much, Kevin. Good report.
Excuse me.
Now we'll move on to unfinished business, and it looks like we discussed a little bit the right-of-way permit application and guidelines. You had a chance to look those over. Kyle, do you have any further follow-up that you'd like to share with council?
Now, what this permit does, or tries to do, is put a little teeth into this permit process. And in the past, we've had difficulties with getting utility companies or their contractors to respond to, say, our needs, issues that we have. And what this permit does is make them give us written status and kind of report with a schedule on those items. And if they want a permit, they have to give us status on requests that we have open with them, or punch list items that we have on other jobs that they've done in town. What it also does is, if they have not come back into town on a timely manner, or for some reason we had to do some of their work for them to finish it up, and we've had to bill them for it, if they're not current with us, with Kathy downstairs, that it makes them get current with them. So before we'll process their next one. It also charges them, I know it's probably a nominal fee, but a $150 deposit, which they would get back once the job is complete and we do a walkthrough with them. You know, I know it's not that much money, but at least it's something that we, pin to their permit, and in order to get that back, they come in after the job's done, and we walk through the job and make sure that it's done right with our inspector. It also makes sure that they have a current business license and have proper insurance too. So,
Kind of walk us through the process of, let's say a plumber came in and I had a leak out where my sewer pipe ran into the main, and he had to dig up the street to do that. Walk through what he has to do for that.
if a plumber comes in, wants to do work on the right of way and dig in the right of way, well, he would simply come in and say, we've got an issue out here, we're going to fix it. And this permit is really not meant for those particular items. It's really meant for the companies like either a socket or a charter, things like that are coming into town and boring and doing bigger jobs that commercial type jobs. You know, the fixes for the sewer fixes. You know, basically we'd work with them to say, okay, here's where the sewer main is. Here's the issues you might see, and we'll come out and draw that up for them. Make sure that what I mean by drawing up is when they have everything exposed, our people go out and map it, and so we know where it's at in the future, so hopefully it doesn't get hit.
So you
I don't know if I
inspect his
answer your
work.
question, but
Yeah. So he comes in, he gives us $150, and then we go through the rigmarole, of making sure we all know what's going on.
a simple,
And then when he's done, he can let you know, and you come back and inspect it, and then map it or whatever, and then once he's completely finished and has it resurfaced.
right. That's not the intention. This permit specifically was not my intention for a simple plumber doing a job for, say, Mary at her house.
Okay.
It's meant for somebody like an AT&T, a charter, coming into town and doing work along the right-of-way, in the right-of-way for a good distance
All right.
over several houses that, you know, commercial business. You know, if Mary had an issue with her house, we're not going to charge $150. At least the intention of this, unless you all make it that way, is not to infringe upon individuals.
An independent contractor.
Right.
Okay. So this is just for the big boys.
Big business.
But we do have rules and regulations for the independent contractor.
Right, we do
to put
have,
our
and that,
streets back
and that, we
to
do
meet
have
our
rules on that.
specifications.
We do have rules on that. They have to fix everything back to our specifications and whatnot. We do have rules on it, but that's not what this specifically is for.
Okay, so I guess I'm still hung up on, so if I think I need I'm gonna dig in the right of way, and I know there's a right of way permit. I come to the engineering department, is that where I start? To
Yes,
get this?
yes,
Okay,
yes. You come to the engineering department, you could get it online. It'll be online too.
okay.
And we have an individual who takes care of these, the paperwork side, and we have a construction and stormwater inspector who visits these guys on a daily basis. At least once a day is his task, to go around and make sure the big boys are doing things right.
So
And-
you're gonna say then on the application you don't need to fill it out unless your project is above X amount? Is that what I'm hearing, or how am I gonna know as a contractor that I'm a little guy, I don't have to mess with it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, if you as a contractor come into City Hall and you ask what needs to be done, we would go over the guidelines for you know, just an individual fix at an individual household that affects right the street right there. We would go over the issues that are needed for it, and we wouldn't even approach this.
Okay. Okay.
There is a current permit right now. There's a existing right-of-way permit that we have right now, and it like I said, I think that this does a better job than the one that we have currently to hold those doing work doing major work in the right-of-way accountable.
So this is just replacing a permit we already have.
It's replacing a permit that we already have.
Okay, I have several questions. I think it's a great idea. Is that current permit approved in concept, not necessarily informed by an ordinance we already have? Because I would see if we're going to if we're going to collect fees, we'd have to have this by ordinance, I think.
There is a ordinance, I believe, on the books. Courtney, you looked that up, and I do believe it allows for that. I don't have it right in front of me. Maybe
I mean,
should.
and I'm not sure we would, you know,
We
it
have-
costs us money to go out and check on these. I'm not sure we'd want to refund the $150 at the end. I don't know, I'm just talking here. Other question I have is, the state legislature passed several laws a year or so ago Does this conflict with any of that?
I read all those laws before I wrote this.
Okay. Did that help?
It did help a little bit.
Okay.
Actually helped me think of some things.
Okay.
There you go.
And the
I
other
think
thing
the
is,
state legislature's actions from a couple years ago
yeah,
caused this.
right.
And let me correct
Okay.
that. I believe I read all those laws. If you try to look all those up,
Understood.
yeah.
Yeah, Daryl can probably fill you in on some of
But
that.
I did print out a stack of them and read through them.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, how do you, I mean, I hear there's gonna be some differentiation versus, a single one house thing, which I guess I'm sure we have a permit for, versus somebody that's, like Socket came in,
Right.
what, 2-3 years ago?
Yeah.
And did a bunch.
Right.
What's your guidelines on how you're gonna differentiate that? Is that, you have that written down? Is that in here? I'll be honest with you, I didn't read it totally, I just kinda skimmed it, but,
Yeah, I don't believe that it's covered in this permit as far as what differentiates this between, say, a single-family residence.
yeah. And then the other question is if I come into town, I start doing the thing, I don't know I need to get this permit, or I know it, I don't care, don't bother. What's the penalty if I don't get one? Do we have anything?
Right now, the penalty is that we shut your job down till you get a permit.
Okay.
So,
And we will find out about you.
and
Oh,
I,
I say you're gonna find it.
you know, you do, you know,
Watch your back there, Michael.
Don't be more than
I do everything in the
Sometimes-
woods you can't see. Just kidding.
sometimes what people do is they'll call Missouri One Call because they know they need to get, they need to call Dig Right to see if they can
Sure.
dig, and they don't come in. They may or may not know that they need to come in here, and of course, you know who does most of the locating around here is Daryl's folks. So,
So, yeah.
It-
Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it's a good idea, I just want to make sure you're
no, those
thinking
are some
other-
very issues that we were, that was trying to think of when I was writing this down. Is
Yeah.
do we charge them anything? Do we refund things? The only reason I had for refunding the 150 is to try to force them to come back in and walk the job with us after it's done.
Incentive, an incentive to
a-
get their money back.
Right.
But $150 may not be big enough for the big dudes,
Right.
so,
Yeah, it very well may not be.
okay. Thank you.
Very good. So do we need to take any action?
Says we need to approve it.
I think he needs approval on this,
Yeah.
yes.
Michael?
I move for approval.
Second.
Very good. I have a motion and a second to approve this right-of-way permit application and guidelines.
So involved.
Any further discussion of the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Okay, very good. We
Good
now
job.
have a right-of-way application and guidelines. Okay. We'll now move on to new business. I believe I saw Miss LaRue out here from the Brick District, and she's going to fill us in on the liquor license application. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank
you. On behalf of the Brick District and the Callaway Arts Council, thank you for letting us address you this evening. Progress is definitely continuing at the Brick District Playhouse, and we're very pleased about that. We now have an events committee they're gathering ideas as to what we can have at the Playhouse later. Once we have the appropriate water system, sprinkler system. Some of the ideas that we have, that we've been talking about: plays, concerts, gospel sings. The Westminster and William Wood students, they're all interested in when is it going to open. They've got ideas. Weddings. We've been approached by people wanting to have weddings, receptions, comedy acts. Lots of good ideas. One of the first that we're going to have, we would like to have a USO review, a patriotic review, on Friday, July the 1st. Great way to kick off the holiday, the July 4th holiday. We would like to close Court Street from 6th to 7th, just that one block area, but be respectful to Rexall Drug and their drive-through. I think they close at 6, so we wouldn't close the entire block until after they close at 6 o'clock. But we would like to close that area and have this USO review. We've been working on a new sign, a new blade and canopy. Columbia Sign Company, Kim Craighead, has been working on that, he and Trevor. And we plan to have it hung. GloveCon will hang it for us. We plan to have it hung by Friday, July 1st. We've asked Mr. Mayor to come and do the honors of flipping the switch, turning on the lights. We'll have a lighting ceremony that evening. That particular evening, we'll have food. We would like, that's where the liquor license comes in. That would be the very first event that we would hold in the outside area, and would like to have a liquor license. Now, in asking for a liquor license and even considering a liquor license, we knew we needed to check with our neighbors. We have 2 churches, good neighbors. We have the First Baptist Church on the north side of us, and right across the street on the east side, we have the Christian church. So we spoke to them. We spoke to them and told them what our plans are, what we would like to do, and asked if they would be okay with that. And based on what we are hoping to do, it is not going to be a bar. That's not what we are intending at all. And they understand that. They were fine with it. They were fine with it. So I did check with Chief about both closing the street on July 1st, but also obtaining a liquor license for throughout. You may want his opinion.
Okay, so you need for us to approve the liquor license with the exception of, because you're within the 150 feet of the...
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Ms.
That's right.
LaRue?
Yes.
Is this going to be a permanent liquor license or just special events?
No, a permanent
A
liquor
permanent one.
license for us, yeah. We wouldn't want to have to come back each and every time. We would like to be able to have it and respect it, of course. Yeah.
And this isn't going to interfere with the VFW? They're planning a special event, aren't they?
They're on the 4th.
That's July the 4th?
It's
Okay.
Oh, the parade?
Oh, the
No,
parade,
no,
no.
it would not
No
interfere with the
interference
parade, no.
Okay.
Debbie, what was the hours that you...
We would probably close the street somewhere around noon, 2 o'clock, so that we could get set up, and then until, say, 11 o'clock that evening.
I see.
Again, being respectful to Rexall Drug and their drive-through.
Yes.
I think it's a great idea to keep people in town for the holiday weekend, because
Good way to
seems like
kick it off.
everybody's gone when...
Yeah.
Debbie, have you talked to all these people? I mean, I was amazed at how many people that were listed.
We
That
have
were within
only
100
talked,
feet.
we've only spoken directly to the churches. We wanted to make sure that the churches were okay with
If
the
I'm not
hours.
mistaken, before we approve this, don't we need to make sure that the citizens in that area voice their opinions?
You were
Do we need to
contacted,
have a hearing or anything?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
City code mandates that they notify the neighbors within 100 feet
That's
within
all it
10
takes?
days. 10 days prior to tonight's meeting.
Okay.
And I am of the understanding that that was done.
Okay, then I need to back up a little bit. Tom Riley, Bruce Hackman were both on that particular committee,
Okay.
and perhaps they have spoken to all of them.
Okay,
Because
that
they,
was
they
my
then,
understanding with Tom, was that
Okay.
they were all contacted.
then they were the ones that asked me to appear tonight, so I'm going to say they have us prepared. So let me back up and say they have us prepared for me to come tonight.
Before we approve it, I'm getting a feeling here that they should be voicing in writing, saying yes, or come to
Then
the
do we
council meeting.
contact them, or does the city council contact them?
Well, I think that the letter that was sent out should,
Les, what do we do in a rezoning or something? We have to send out a letter to all the people, right? Right. Well, but,
We're not required to have a
So
public
they could-
hearing. No.
Right.
is that what it is?
yeah.
Then you can do this, and that's what these folks are asking for.
Okay.
In no time that I'm aware of, have we ever sent notice to anybody that they're gonna have some sort of party or something.
Okay.
We don't do that in Westminster when they do their
Right.
spring get-togethers and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Well, we don't do that when we do close the downtown for the fairs. either.
Right.
Street fair
I
either,
can't-
right?
I think
And-
we're making a bigger deal of it
And I think
Yeah,
that
I think so,
alcohol
too.
gets within 100 feet of the churches too.
than, well,
doesn't it?
but they've got the permission on it.
We do. We do
Right,
have the
correct.
permission specifically from the two churches.
Right, okay.
According
You're
to the code, they are, again, after talking to Tom, you all are in compliance with having notified everyone that needed to be notified. It does not require us to have a public hearing or anything beyond
I just don't want to
notifying.
see it come back and bite us in the butt.
Sure. We don't either.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Okay, very good, thank you. I have a motion to approve
Thank you.
the Brick District's request for their liquor license, and also the closing of Court Street on July
First.
1st, between 6th and 7th.
From noon till 11 p.m.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's what it
Noon to
says
11.
here.
Okay.
that's what I have.
Any further discussion of that motion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Okay, very good.
All right,
you.
thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay, we'll go on to item B, under new business. Lynn Dykamp is with us this evening, maybe, for the
don't
Callaway
believe-
Crop Hunger Walk.
I don't believe she was going to be able
okay.
to join us
Okay.
tonight.
They're requesting permission to hold their 46th annual crop walk. Is that information in here?
Yes.
So that route and so forth is included in our packets.
Is this route been approved by the chief?
This looks similar to what that we've.
It
they've
says
done,
no
doesn't it?
officers are needed.
Yeah.
Steve is shaking his head yes.
Yeah, he is.
All right.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Very good, thank you. Have a motion and second to approve the request from the annual crop walk folks to have their annual walk on October the 9th. Any further discussion of the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
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 All those opposed, no. Okay, thank you. We will have a crop walk, excuse me. Okay. Looks like we need to discuss some council meeting dates in September and December because of the MML conference. You want to lead that, Courtney, please?
Yeah.
Sure. In September, we're going to be at the MML conference on the week that typically we would meet here for city council. So just to kind of have a heads up, we would probably need to go ahead and adjust that meeting date. Same kind of thing. I know last year we waited until October or November to change the December meeting date. Typically, we meet once in December on the third week. So this is just to kind of open up discussion and give everyone the opportunity to plan ahead.
I'm the one that brought this up, so thank you for covering that, Courtney, because basically I have a conflict with a class I'm taking this fall on Tuesday night, so it's, and I noticed, hey, this is on MML night, and we always talk about December. So I'd like to make a motion that we basically just have the one meeting in September, the second meeting of the month, and that we move our December meeting, only have one meeting in December on the 20th. That's my motion.
And that would be the third week, like
Yeah.
as
In
how it
December.
normally
On
is.
the
Okay.
20th, yeah.
And then,
I'll second that.
and then September, what's the date on that September?
Well, it'd be the second meeting. We
Just our
just had the
one.
second meeting.
Yeah, because we're not here.
Right. That way, we wouldn't have a work session on the other kind of stuff.
Exactly.
right?
Okay, I have a motion and a second to, didn't I hear you second that, Wayne?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion and a second to authorize the change of these meeting dates in September and in December. Any further discussion?
That's okay.
I'd only like to bring up one other thing. Like I just mentioned, I have a class that I'm gonna have to miss several council meetings, and I would like consideration. We don't have to talk about it tonight, but just think about it. Moving those meetings to a different night of the week, maybe Monday or Wednesday, but let's just think about it and talk about it at a later time. I'm just bringing that up for sake of argument, because it's in our council procedures. We have meetings on Tuesdays and all that stuff, so.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Look at it.
that's all I had, sir.
Okay. Very good. So, if there's not any further discussion, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Okay, very good.
All right.
We'll change those meetings. We'll now move on to approval of the asphalt overlay project, which again was included in your packet. Looks like we're going to be able to do, and this year, as we asked engineering to do, they've included some curb and sidewalks, rather, and and we've driven these and feel like it's a good plan.
And we had another expert in the car. We had Richard Vaughn with us that day.
Yeah.
So where you have written in okay, that means those are the ones you're gonna deal with?
And
or-
it's the one on the front here. Not, you look at, flip the sheet over.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
2016 opening, yeah.
So the page on the back is kind of what we started with, and the page in the front is what we ended up with.
Priority.
Okay.
I like Kyle's smiling face. I want to ask him some questions.
Go ahead, Kyle, if you got some.
I was just going to say, what's the Pacer rating? Is it 1 through what?
The Pacer rating's a 1 through 10 rating system.
Okay.
And with 1 being the worst, 10 being the best.
Okay.
And it's a system that tries to set up kind of the right remedy for the right rating, if you will. So depending on what it's rated, you might need a chip seal versus full structural overlay. So.
And just kind of like, you know, it says Vine Street's a 6.
Right.
But we're not, but one of the proposals was to do all of Vine Street. Well, that's not going to happen. It's just going to be the section there by the bridge.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right, okay.
Well, and I see a couple 3s on the backside. Rice Road, and what's the other one? I saw a second one.
Is it Plaza Drive?
Plaza Drive,
Clean.
Fleetwood, Douglas,
All right.
that aren't on here.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the reason for bumping something that's supposedly in better condition, by the
Yeah.
rating anyway?
Kind of the reason for that is that when a street is at, say, a 5 or a 6, you can salvage that street. Say, you know, if you go to kind of the bottom portion of it where we're proposing chip seal,
Right.
we can do a chip seal because it's structurally, the road itself is structurally fine.
I see.
Okay.
The chip seal will try to will seal the road and keep the water out, and keep that road in good condition.
Okay.
Now, one that's rated a 3, there's really not much we can do with one that's a 3 because structurally it's not sound. Doing some kind of a seal is not going to work. So,
I see.
you know, a 3, the reason why we might not do a 3 this year is because we might be saying, hey, okay, it's a 3, we know it's in bad condition. Next year,
Deal.
you know, it might not be within our budget next year, but, you know, there's nothing else we can do but do a structural overlay on it. So
I understand.
that would be the reason.
All right. And in the Director of Administration report, you said we're considering doing chip seal again. I didn't know we weren't doing chip seal.
Yeah, we haven't done chip seal in the last several years.
Really?
It's really messy.
So exactly
Yeah.
what is chip seal?
There you go.
Is that
That's the
that
stuff that
gravel
chips
with?
your car as you drive across it from all.
Yeah, right, you get that oil all over your car?
Yeah.
It's exactly what you're thinking of,
All right.
Ms. Gray. And
All right.
now
I'm sorry, Tom.
in the past, the street department has done chip seals, and I'm not proposing that the street department continue to do that. To be honest with you, we don't have the oil tank and whatnot that's really necessary to do the job and to do it in the best
It doesn't do a really
manner.
long-lasting job, does it?
Excuse me?
It doesn't do a long-lasting job, does it?
It'll give us another 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm proposing is that those 4 streets that are at the bottom of the page is that we do a chip seal and that we piggyback on the county's contracts. Both Callaway County and Boone County have a publicly bid project, chip seal project. And we can, as a city, we can piggyback on their contract to do that. It's actually a great price. A great price, about $1.60 a square yard. So, is what I received from them today. So
That's the chip seal part.
yeah, that's the chip seal part. So
So-
that would be you know, kind of a separate contract from the asphalt overlay and the sidewalk work that's on the top.
Okay.
And this 42,000 on the chip seal, does that reflect the price that you just said?
That does not. That actually reflects about a $2 price. Yeah, that was estimated through talking with the company who got that bid last year.
Right.
So they said at $1.60 is a square yard is a phenomenal price, is what they indicated, and unusually low price is what.
So we're looking at this on here, there's two numbers, there's a 2-inch overlay, and then there's a chip seal. We're talking just the chip seal number, right?
Yeah, if you're looking at the very bottom part, if there's
Yes,
two
sir.
things listed, and it doesn't come through here on the copy as well, but one is in darker color, and
Right.
also it reflects it on the total line, so you'll
Okay.
see total equal to, and you'll see the chip seal value in there.
Okay,
So that's what's being proposed.
I see.
So at the very bottom, they're all being proposed as chip seals.
Okay. I have a question. On the West Sixth Street, it's a sidewalk issue plague this road as well. Might consider replacing the sidewalks also now. Is that also, that's not included then in the money, right?
The overlay is not included.
Okay.
What's included in here is sidewalk repair of existing sidewalk. You'll see that the overlay number has a linear feet that's like, that is 1,285, and you'll see the sidewalk repair is 444. So what we're basically doing there is taking the bad sections of sidewalk
I see.
and replacing those bad sections
Okay,
of
I see.
sidewalk.
Okay, I see it down here. Okay. Thank you.
Some of these roads, I'm looking at the old Jeff City Road, 6th Street, well, that says sidewalk only. But anyway, when I drive down those, I don't see that they actually at this time need anything. Are you trying to go over this again to make it last a little longer or what?
Which one?
You mentioned Old Jeff City Road.
Yeah, it says Coates Sandestin to Highway 54.
Right.
I've
They-
driven down that and it don't look that bad at all to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, Old Jeff City Road is actually was an old, had been chip sealed in the past. And if you'll notice that chip seal, as you drive down it, is worn off and it's been on there a lot longer than those 3 to 4 years that I told you about. So basically, what this new chip seal would do would be to seal that road back up, so water doesn't intrude on that road and begin to break that road up, and then we really have to have a structural solution, which costs a lot more
I see.
dollars. So,
Makes sense.
I just didn't think Coates Sandestin looked that bad, but you're the expert, not me, so.
I think he's
Well,
more
it's-
into preventative here, right?
yeah, this is a preventative measure. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's Old Jeff City Road from Coates Sandestin to kind of the storage units up there on Highway 54.
Okay.
Log Cabin Lane is on there for Ward 4.
Yes.
So I know that's a sore spot for all of us. Or at
Absolutely.
least several of us. What are we doing there?
Yeah.
I mean, I see milling, but what does that mean?
Log Cabin Road, what I'm proposing to do is take the existing hard surface, don't laugh, because if you've driven down it,
Yeah.
it's hard and soft and.
Not long.
and
What's
it's
there?
it's a disaster. And essentially what I'm proposing to do is to take that road back to a gravel road. So I'm proposing to mill the existing hard surface up and use the millings in place and essentially bring that road back to a gravel surface. So.
I see.
Do we get enough tax money out of that area to justify doing all of this?
No.
No, I think
We're
we
just
have.
being the good guys.
I think we have one, maybe two residents. I think it's one.
We're held at one.
It's one's on.
Yeah. Okay.
And the county's not interested in doing anything, I don't guess.
No.
I haven't asked them, but I don't know if maybe you did.
Blacktop everywhere.
Well, but it's county, I mean, it
It's
goes
county
at least to a
maintained.
county road, and,
Yeah, once you get to the gravel portion of it,
Yeah.
it's county.
yeah.
So
I see.
to do anything greater than mill it up and make it a gravel road is going to cost a substantial amount. I mean, it's a pretty long section of road. It's about 3/4 of a mile
Yeah,
that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
this makes sense.
Do you need a motion or
Yes.
move for approval of the 2016 asphalt overlay project as presented?
Second.
Very good, thank you. I have a motion and a second to approve the 2016 overlay project. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Very good. Get some overlay done. All right, thank you.
Okay, I'm
Also,
sorry,
at
Mr.
this
Mayor,
time-
may I ask another question about the overlay and the chip seal?
Fire away.
So the chip seal, we can pretty much start it as soon as the contractor is available, right? And then the other we'll have to go out for bid for the asphalt overlay?
Yes.
Yes. The county is looking at their chip seal starting about just right after July 4th, is what Paul had indicated.
So we'll work with the contractor and so they can do it conveniently while they're over here and that sort of thing?
Right.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I should have asked that earlier. Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. We'll now move on to, well, we don't have any resolutions, so we have ordinances. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm skipping the council concerns.
So by that,
Was that a Freudian slip?
Whatever.
do we have anything?
We really are interested in your concerns, otherwise we wouldn't have it on here.
Right.
At this time, let me start down here with Mr. Shilen, or Councilman Shilen, if you'd like to bring forth any concerns you have, and then we'll just move down the
My concerns are you slipping?
okay. Very good. I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
You don't want to know.
Okay,
Wasn't important.
Councilman West?
I have nothing, sir.
Okay,
Nothing.
okay, we'll move on down.
Well, you know I do.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I was
all we have
reading Mr. Johnson's report here,
Uh-huh.
and where it says, gas department, continue working on the gas main change for new stormwater project on East Second Street. What are you saying here, that the gas main and the storm thing are connected, or what?
For a stormwater project that we have proposed, and this is pretty much a Kyle and a Daryl thing, and if I get too lost, they'll fix me. But we're doing a stormwater project down there on East Second,
Yeah,
and the gas line needs to be relocated. Storm sewer is kind of like sanitary sewer. It has to go straight and on grade. Where the gas line, there's no real requirements that it have to be straight or level or flow downhill. It's under pressure. So they're going to relocate the gas line to make a spot for the storm sewer.
okay, and then another concern here, you have continue working on gas main extension on Wood Street. And then we were going to decide if we're going to annex this 40 acres, Wood Street, and I believe Mr. West said this annexation is at the end of St. Eunice.
No.
So,
No.
oh, I was thinking that's what you said.
No, whatever road that is, is that Herring Mill Road?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Comes up and hits St. Eunice. It runs parallel with Wood Street, and
Yeah.
they both dead end onto at St. Eunice.
So that's not gonna create any hardship on the city extending this gas line on there?
No.
Okay. And then over here with the airport and all this chipping you're doing, what is happening with that? The people that's tearing it up or hauling it off? I'm concerned about, what is this, pollution stuff or whatever?
They use
hazmat.
a lot of the old runway that they ground up. They placed at the far end of the runway they were grinding up. And it's going to extend the runway just a little bit to make the transit. At the end of that runway, there's a steep hill.
We had a meeting last night.
They pushed these millings over the hill to soften, should a plane go past the end of the runway. I still don't want to be in the plane, but
Yeah.
it's going to be a little bit better than it was.
So, question? Oh, I'm sorry, no, go ahead.
And I think that's about all I wanted. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Councilman Ball?
I've had some calls on the upcoming 4th of July fireworks, and they would appreciate the police department keeping an eye on the people shooting fireworks out of the street again this year. Same area that we discussed last year, around the little small areas and shooting fireworks on people's houses, but they just wanted to make sure I said something about that, so you can have a little more presence in that particular area. I'll talk to you afterwards about the streets. And then I'd like to thank Les for taking care of a couple other situations on grass, getting some letters out for me. And also, I would like to express my thanks to Mr. Woods for putting up the signs for and the VFW also wanted to, putting up the veterans, the Purple Heart City signs, getting them started, and also doing the work with MoDOT to get that going our way. I appreciate it.
By the way, the 4 additional signs are in my office.
Oh, okay, thank you. I'll let them know that.
Great.
That's all I've got.
Very good. Is that it? So far, you're being easy on us. Go ahead.
I have no concern.
Okay, very good.
Can
Thank you.
I recant? Mr.
Sure.
Mayor? I'd like to piggyback on Mr. Vaughn on the fire, or the fireworks.
Okay.
The Independence Day, 4th of July is on a Monday night, I believe, so there'll be a lot of people that have to go to work the next morning. And I think our ordinance allows shooting fireworks off to 11 or 1 o'clock in the morning.
I believe so.
Do we want to reconsider that since it's a working day for a lot of people the next day? We don't have to answer that tonight. It's just something we might want to think about. And also, the fire chief he's gonna have to rule on whether it's acceptable to shoot them or not too, right? If it stays wet, we're good. If it gets dry, we're not.
Oh, definitely.
Very good.
That fired a neuron. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll
Mike?
kick that around a little bit. Okay. Now back to where I was before. We do not have any resolutions this evening. We do have ordinances. First ordinance to consider is an emergency ordinance, which is bill number 1451. It has to do with a surplus property sale, declaring the city property surplus. We're having to do that on an emergency basis because we just ran out of time here. Therefore, Councilman Shiverdecker, would you please present bill number 1451?
Yes, sir. An ordinance declaring city property to be surplus property, authorizing its sale and establishing an effective date to be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Fulton, Missouri, as follows. Section 1. the council finds and determines that the attached list of property marked Exhibit A is no longer needed or necessary for the operation of various departments of the city of Fulton, declared them to be surplus property. Section 2, that the council directs the purchasing agent to advertise said property for sale by sealed bid and/or auction. Section 3, that the mayor, the city clerk, I hereby authorize and direct to execute the bill of sale and other documents that may be needed for the sale of this property and to deliver same upon receipt of payment therefor. Section 4, that this ordinance shall be in full force and effect after its passage by the city council and approved by the mayor. Make a motion that this bill be read for a second time at tonight's meeting.
Very good, thank you.
I'll second that.
Good, I have a motion and a second to advance reading of ordinance 1451. Is there any further discussion on that motion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I don't agree that this meets the requirements of being an emergency. I mean, I think we go ahead and do the thing, but I think we should do this over a couple meetings and not do it as an emergency ordinance. Doesn't pass my gut check to be an emergency ordinance.
Okay, very good. I looked up emergency ordinances in our charter today, and it just says a proposed ordinance may be adopted by the council, approved by the mayor as an emergency measure on the day of its introduction if it contains a declaration describing in clear, specific terms the facts and reasons constituting the emergency and receives the vote of 6 members of the council. So if all 6 of you voted for it this evening, that I don't see any problems with it. That it has to be a particular type of ordinance.
I don't see where it says why it's an emergency on here.
Okay. I haven't seen it, so.
It is stated as an emergency on the top, which would constitute.
Yeah, but that doesn't say why.
No, it doesn't say why.
You got the deciding vote.
Sam?
You got the deciding vote.
I'd like to hear from Sam. May I hear from Sam? Yeah.
You can reject it by no vote.
Hello. The reason that we're doing it as an emergency is because we would like to have the auction in June. And so therefore, everybody's been trying to get the stuff out of the old building that they want to salvage, anything that isn't usable by the city anymore. We've been moving over to my old building.
Okay.
And so therefore, everybody's pretty much wrapped up, got everything in the red barn. Therefore, we could get a list of what we wanted to surplus. So that's kind of why it's an emergency, because our first meeting in June isn't until, I believe it's right after
Right.
when we would like to have the sale.
I
So
see.
that's why we're classifying it as an emergency.
Thank you, Sam.
Very good.
I thought about this a while today, and if it's, you know, if being an emergency is going to cause an issue or be a problem, if we did first read tonight, I think that would give city staff knowledge of the city council's intent and desires, and then we could go ahead and still do the auction on the 14th, on the
10th.
on the 11th, and then come back on the 14th and do second and third reading following the auction.
If it's just surplus, why do you have to go through all of this?
'Cause
Just
we
have your auction and get rid of this junk.
Because we have an ordinance that says we,
Yeah,
you
you
guys.
can't.
And
Yeah.
several years ago, the city council actually discussed giving the department head, the mayor, and the city administrator authority to sign off on stuff,
Yes.
and we just never followed up on it.
And I'll be honest, I mean, I'm not worried about any of this stuff. It
Yeah.
just doesn't pass my gut check to be an emergency. And I shared that with Bill. I'm not hitting him and Mr. Mayor cold
So,
with this. I'll let
You
them
know, if you want to read it for first reading tonight, that'd give us your intent on, that you're going to approve it. We'll go ahead and have the surplus auction, and we'll do the second, third reading on June 14th.
I'd even be okay with the second reading tonight if we want.
I,
I don't see any point in dragging this out, because you all know what we need to get rid of. So just have the auction and get rid of this stuff.
We'll save the third reading for the next meeting. We'll go ahead and do the second one as I've already motioned. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that discussion. So if there's not any further discussion, I'll call for the question. And remember, if we're going to do it as emergency, it takes 6 people, so. All those in favor of advancing Bill 1451 for second reading tonight, please signify by saying yes.
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 All those opposed, no. Okay, very good, thank you. We'll now go ahead, Councilman Shiverdecker, if you present it for second reading.
Bill number 1451, an ordinance declaring city property to be determined surplus property, authorizing its sale and establishing an effective date. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Fulton, Missouri, as follows. Section 1, the council finds and determines that the attached list of property marked Exhibit A is no longer needed or necessary for the operation of the various departments of the City of Fulton and declare them to be surplus property. Section 2, that the council directs the purchasing agent to advertise said property for sale by sealed bid and or auction. Section 3, that the mayor, city clerk, are hereby authorized and directed to execute a bill of sale and other documents that may be needed for the sale of this property and to deliver same upon receipt of payment therefor. Section 4, that this ordinance shall be in full force and effect after its passage by the council and approved by the mayor. I make a motion that bill number 1451 be read for a third time at our next scheduled meeting.
Very good, thank you. I have a motion and a second to advance Bill 1451 for third reading at the next scheduled council meeting.
I'm sorry, who gave the second?
I did.
You did, okay. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion of that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
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 All those no. Opposed, no. Okay, thank you. Bill 1451 is advanced. We'll now go to first reading ordinances. We have bill number 1452, which has to do with establishing and amending some plumbing codes as far as lead ban in the plumbing. Councilman Vaughn, would you please present Bill 1452 first reading, title only.
Bill number 1452, an ordinance establishing a lead ban in public and private drinking water plumbing and establish an effective date, and amending the code of the City of Fulton, Chapter 18, Article 6, Plumbing Code, Section 18-134, to incorporate said lead ban to the code of the City of Fulton. Before I make a motion to place Bill 1452 for second reading, I'd like to table this.
You'd like to table it?
Yes, I would. I'd make a motion to table this
very good.
ordinance. I've talked to Les about this a little earlier, and he was going to do some checking to see some of the wording in it I wasn't real fond about.
Okay.
And he was going to do some checking with the attorney, I think, that we talked about before
Do we have to vote
we
on
bring
the
this
table?
on for second and third reading.
We still have some discussion?
Okay. Very
Yeah.
good. The bill is tabled and,
We need a
We
second
got
on that.
to
Oh,
have
do I
a
have a
second
second?
on it.
Yeah, I'm
and
sorry.
vote.
Second.
okay, very good. Have a motion and a second to table the motion, so
Okay.
we'll table it till next meeting and see if we want to take it off, see if we can clarify any problems that you have
Thank
with
you.
it.
We have a discussion vote, don't we?
I'm sorry?
Don't we have to discuss and vote to table it?
Yes.
Okay.
Before, Michael.
So
My
we'll move on.
discussion, my question is, why are we doing this? What's the,
There.
why?
Okay.
We had our yearly DNR inspection on the water system, and the existing ordinance didn't have the lead levels low enough. So this is DNR's preferred ordinance that they sent us.
Oh,
So does this mean that we have leaded pipes in there now?
No, when Les looked up the other code, the older code, the percentage of lead that could be allowed in solder and stuff was more than DNR's. Is the difference as I remember. Maybe Les remembers something else, but we have a lead ban. It just wasn't as tight as what DNR wants it now.
And is that coming
What
from
does
the
ours
EPA?
actually measure?
Do what?
What does ours actually measure?
I don't remember what ours actually measured. It was something about the fixtures themselves and then in the solder, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's what this says too.
So this would be within the guidelines of EPA, or, yeah.
When they sent us back our inspection report,
Correct.
they included that in there and didn't believe that our existing lead code was tight enough, and that was the one they sent and recommended.
Okay.
So is this gonna affect old property in any way?
No.
Everything's grandfathered in. I mean, there's a lot of properties already built that
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That,
probably don't even meet our current ordinance.
my concern about, and the reason I would like to table that is that in part of the ordinance that I was reading, and I called Les and was reading it to him, it was on the remodel of property. When you go to remodel it, the way it sounded in there to me is that you'd have to tear out the complete plumbing system in a house and start over,
Whoa.
even if you would just remodel in the bathroom
Oh.
area. And I just wanted that clarified before we
That's a good clarification.
vote on something to
Very
do
good, yeah.
something like that.
I think that'd be important.
Very.
So
What,
we'll have that for next meeting.
if I go into a hardware store and I want to go buy some flux, what kind of lead levels does it have?
We have any,
We don't have any.
Doesn't have any
So-
now. Back then, you used 50-50 solder,
Yep.
which contained 50% lead, 50% silver.
Right.
Now the solder you use is 75-20, or 70-30.
And
So
And it doesn't melt
It's
as well.
only 30% lead.
I see.
And it doesn't melt as well, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No, of course not.
No.
And I think Councilman Vaughn's right. What they've done over the years, they kept lowering that down.
Sure.
And we're just, from their standpoint, we're one notch behind where we should be.
Okay.
So
And
is
that
this coming-
part is okay. I was just more concerned about what it was saying about
Remodeling.
remodeling in
Right.
areas.
Is this ultimately coming from EPA? Is that where it's?
It's coming from DNR, but
Huh?
it's coming from DNR, but they're probably using EPA guidelines, I would
Sure.
think.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay,
Darryl.
very good. Thank you. Let's move on to item B, bill number 1453, which approves some budget adjustments as a result of our audit, I'm sure. Kathy, do you need to explain anything
Yeah,
on
maybe.
this
Would you mind?
before we present it?
Thank you.
No, but I just wanted to draw your attention to, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 departments and 4 funds that were over budget. And I've included a list of the under budget departments and funds, which are much more numerous.
Okay.
But on the over budget, the capital improvement sales tax, the Fulton Public Improvement TIF, and the Atkinson Road TIF were over budget on expenses. But the revenues, there were offsetting revenues. And the
Okay.
reason for that is because if you remember, we retired the 2 TIFs. And we made an extremely large payment in 2015.
That's right.
So,
We had a good year.
yeah, we had a
I
very
think
good
so.
year.
I think so.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Councilman West, would you please present 1453, please?
Yes, sir. Hopefully we can get through this one.
Title only.
Bill number 1453, ordinance number blank. An ordinance authorizing amendments to the City of Fulton budget for the fiscal year 2015 as outlined by Article 8, Financial Procedures, Section 8.8, amendments after adoption, Paragraph C, transfer of appropriations, Fulton City Charter, and establishing an effective date. I move that bill number 1453 be presented for second reading at our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Second.
Very good, thank you. Have a motion and a second to advance 1453. for second reading. Next scheduled council meeting. Is there any further discussion of that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
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 Very good. All those opposed, no. Yeses have it, thank you. It will advance. Okay. We'll now consider for second reading, again, bill number 1449, which is an ordinance that has to do with annexing established property. Councilwoman Reclue, would you please present 1449
Would you
for
like
second reading?
third one also?
Title only, sure.
Yes, okay. Bill number 1449, an ordinance incorporating certain territories known as 4978 County Road 304 in the corporate limits of the city of Fulton, Missouri, establishing an initial zoning, establishing an effective date. I move that bill number 1449 be presented at tonight's meeting for third reading.
Second.
Very good, thank you. I have a motion to advance 1449. Is there any further discussion of that motion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Okay, thank you. I heard that you want to read it the third time this evening, thank you. Councilwoman Reclue, if you'd please present 1449, third reading, title only.
Okay. Bill number 1449, an ordinance incorporating certain territory known as 4978 County Road 304 into the corporate limit of the city of Fulton, Missouri, establishing an initial zoning and establishing an effective date. I move that bill number 1449, after third reading, be voted on tonight's meeting. Sorry.
Second.
Very good, thank you. I have a motion and a second to advance for final consideration. Is all those, any further discussion of the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
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 All those opposed, no. Very good. You've heard bill number 1449 presented 3 times. It's now time for a final vote. Please answer yes or no to the roll call.
Okay, Mr. Schuylen,
Yes.
Ms. Gray,
Yeah.
Ms. Reclue,
Yes.
Mr. Shiverdecker,
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn,
Yes.
and Mr. West.
Yes.
6 affirmative, 2 absent.
Very good. Thank you. 1449 is adopted. Very good. We'll now consider bill number 1450 for second reading, which is a request again for annexation of a property owned by HLW. Councilman Schuylen, would you please present by title only bill number 1450, second reading?
Bill number 1450, an ordinance incorporating certain territory as requested by HLW Builders Incorporated into the corporation limits of the city of Fulton, Missouri, establishing an initial zoning and establishing an effective date. I move that bill number 1450 be moved to the third and final reading at tonight's meeting.
Second.
Very good. I have a motion and a second to advance bill number 1450 for third reading tonight. Is there any further discussion of this motion?
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
are we still advertising this as public hearing in the paper?
I think
No.
you're right.
Not mine, no.
Oh, I read it in today's paper.
I think there were a couple public hearings for abatements. Is that right, Les?
Oh,
Yeah,
is
so it
that,
would be
were
for
the
something.
abatements? Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. I'm glad you're watching us. Thank you. Very good. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion advancing 1450, please signify by saying yes.
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 All those opposed, no. Very good. Councilman Schuylen, if you'd please present 1450, third reading, title only.
Bill number 1450, an ordinance incorporating certain territory as requested by HLW Builders Incorporated into the corporate limits of the city of Fulton, Missouri, and establish an initial zoning and establish an effective date. I move that bill number 1450 be voted on at tonight's meeting. Final passage.
Second.
Very good, thank you. I have a motion and a second to advance 1450 for final consideration. Is there any discussion on the motion?
My concern is that now a gravel road, and are we gonna have to go in there and resurface it if we annex this piece of property?
Part of the petition that was signed by the owner was that they understood that that was currently a gravel road and had no desires for improvement.
So therefore, we're gonna be responsible.
We will not be responsible to improve it.
Okay. I don't want another log cabin road.
I don't
incident.
either.
This one has a base on it, much better base.
Much better road.
It's been a gravel road for a long time.
Yeah.
We don't know that half.
Okay, good point. Any other discussion, any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of advancing 1450 for final consideration, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Okay, very good. You've heard bill number 1450 presented 3 times. It's now time for final vote. Please signify yes or no upon roll call.
Okay, Ms. Gray,
I think I'm going with a no.
Ms. Reclus,
Yes?
Mr. Shiverdecker,
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn,
Yes.
Mr. West,
Yes.
and Mr. Shyland.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 affirmative, 1 opposed, and 2 absent.
Okay, very good. 1450 is passed. Thank you. Very good. We'll now consider the Director's Administration Report for the month of April, and all the department heads are present, so if you have any questions, now's the time to ask.
I have a few, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Michael.
Okay, on page 43, this is under Parks and Recreation. Under General, there's the bottom set of bullets. I don't know, it's 6 from the bottom. Turned off Wi-Fi at Memorial Park due to increased vandalism and criminal activity in the park. What's the
Oh,
deal?
he's on his way.
Pretty much what it says, some of the
Yeah.
I think we've had Wi-Fi down there for about a year or two now, maybe a year and a half, something like that. We've been getting a lot of vandalism. We're getting a lot of teenage age kids. And a lot of what they're doing down there is just hanging out, playing on their laptop, things like that.
Oh, okay. Now I understand the link to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I started to figure that out. I'm like, what's this got to do with it?
So we weren't real sure that the Wi-Fi was attracting the people that were causing all the vandalism, but we thought we might get rid of it for a while. And since we've got rid of it, we've had less incidents.
Okay.
So
And
it's
that's
kind of an experiment.
Okay.
I see.
Yeah, I was trying to, I thought maybe it was being used for criminal activity or something. I was like, I didn't get it. But now it was a moth to the flame kind of thing. So
Yeah.
since the free Wi-Fi was there,
Sure.
people were congregating and they were causing issues.
Yeah, and I think some people were really taking advantage of it, on their lunch break, using it. And there's some good that came from it. But then on the other side, we kind of think, well, if you're going to come to the park, you need to be outside, you need to be active, and not just playing on your phone or your computer. So that's kind of where we're at with it. If we get a big demand for it, and we may try it again.
Well, it's probably nice when there's an event down there, somebody may want to stream something or something. But you're kind of right. I mean, if you're there at the park enjoying yourself and outside.
Yeah, and we still have the capability to turn it back on, so
Good.
we can do that if we decide to.
I might also remind the community, we still have Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi here at City Hall, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you can get it outside there.
Yeah, I don't know how far it reaches. So you may want to turn it on during the day and off at night, or I don't know. That may be a pain in the neck too.
Well, we thought maybe put it on a timer too, so. We're looking at a few different things, but right now we're going to keep it off and just kind of
see how it goes.
Yeah, give it a test run and see what happens.
Thank you.
Okay, good question. Thank you.
I have
another?
I have several for Kyle. His report, starting on page 61.
61.
Okay, under sewer project, lining herring addition existing pipe to eliminate voids and root balls. What do you mean by lining it? We're going to do the thing like we did this line over here?
Yeah, there's a company called In Situ Form that will line the pipe. And the pipe that's down there is, for the most part, structurally sound. It just has some voids in it where some roots are getting in. And we've had to do some, Daryl's guys have had to do some maintenance, root sawing of that. So the line will seal that pipe up.
So they'll come in and root saw it, and then, you know,
Yeah.
a fresh one, and then they'll line it.
Right.
Can the roots get through that at all, or?
Through the lining?
Yeah.
Not to my knowledge.
I don't
but,
know
I mean,
either.
if there's,
I've seen them advertised for 30-something years, but never. Okay. Looking into sewer issues at St. Michael?
yeah, we've had a citizen come in with a complaint about a sewer issue on the backside of his house, and so we're we have done some investigation on what the problem is and kind of how to solve that problem.
Okay. Is it on our
It's
side?
on our sewer main, instead of, as Bill put it earlier, instead of going on grade, you know, sewer flows downhill.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, it flows downhill, but then it has to go back uphill. So,
If it gets enough of a run, it might make it.
yeah.
Just kidding. Stormwater issues on Julian Lane?
I had a citizen complaint on Julian Lane. There's a ditch, kind of a rock channel through there, and citizen complained that we had done some sewer work, sanitary sewer work there in the past, and it was causing an issue. I didn't really see much of an issue other than there is that old kind of ditch that goes through there, and it's a nuisance.
Okay. And I'm about 5 bullets down from the stormwater and erosion at the Baptist Church. Is that where they're building the new one? That's just a normal construction thing?
Yes. I'm assuming we're talking about Southside Baptist Church.
Yeah, Southwest Baptist
Or
Church is what it
South.
says.
However I wrote it.
It's Southside.
I wrote it wrong.
Yeah, I
Excuse
wasn't
my-
pointing that out. It's a normal construction thing that they just need to get in compliance.
The site has been in construction for a while now, and we've been really lenient up to this point, and they have a Department of Natural Resources permit, and you know, we met with them to discuss the fact that we have been lenient, and we really need to get that site cleaned up. There's a lot of sediment that's making its way off of that site.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's right there at our, right there at our entryway into town.
Right.
We're coming up on a year since DNR did their inspection audit of our stormwater permit. What are the odds they might come back and see if we did all those things that I said that we would do, kind of deal. And really they need to start doing their part on it. I mean, I'm not trying to be too forceful on them. I gave them, we met with them, and I gave them a month to get started doing something about it, because we've been lenient on it. It's kind of hard to just show up one day and after you've been lenient.
Right.
But we're trying to solve the problem.
Did they seem receptive to fixing it?
They indicated that within a month they would get started, but we're running up on that month time.
Okay. On the next page, Family Dollar concerning stormwater buyout option.
Yeah.
Family Dollar would, they're proposing to move over closer to O'Reilly's and AutoZone over there.
Right.
And they would like to utilize the stormwater buyout option that's in our current city codes. And so it's a dollar amount per square foot. I can't remember off the top of my head what that dollar amount is. I think it's an initial it's an initial amount plus a figure per square foot. And so interacting with their engineers to see if that is a viable option, to make sure it doesn't impact the neighbors directly around there if they do seek that, and what they would potentially do.
So they want to pay money rather than put
Rather
in a
than-
retention pond or something like that?
Correct.
Ah, okay. Didn't know we could do that.
Yeah.
You bought a curb roller machine? Was that budgeted?
Yeah.
It was not in the initial
It's a
budget.
$4,000 hydraulic roller
Yeah.
that is going to allow us to do the curb replacement. We're using it over on Grand Street right now.
Yeah, it's really looking
So we can
good.
make nice concrete curbs? Is that-
Nicer.
Nicer. They square or round?
Well, we've demoed and are using right now one that's more of a square one, but we're getting the company to come back in and demonstrate one that's got a little more radius to it.
Yeah.
So.
You know, those square ones are terrible wheel on a car.
Yep.
The round ones, at least they'll drive up on them. I know we rent one,
I can bring you one.
$400.
You want to see it bad enough, I can bring you one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definite, I mean, I think that with discussions with Bill, and Daryl was out looking at it, I think we've had that, those same discussions as far as what's better longevity-wise,
Right.
car-wise.
Harder to cut the grass.
Right. They,
Ours
the
are
way we do it now, it's the square ones, you know, with the face forms.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if the machine broke down, you know, if we bought a square one, it might match in a little bit better. That's kind of, you know, a soft analysis on the benefit of a square one. I think that we're leaning more toward a round one. We're gonna get a demonstration in of the round one, see how easy it is to get those formed up.
Just speaking for myself, I'm a big fan of the rollover curves. I don't like those square
No,
curves.
the square ones are not.
Come over and
If
cut
I
my
had a vote on
grass.
it, I would vote no.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
We already talked about that. Clay advised that we need to consider asphalt on the walking trail.
Yeah, I was just discussing the overlay list
Right.
down in Clay's office, and he suggested that in the future we might need to take a look at the walking trail and see what the condition is on that, because we've got a lot of old asphalt there that.
Okay. I was gonna say, I thought it was asphalt already, so we're just talking about now we may need to do some maintenance on it.
Yeah, maintenance or reworking of it. Yeah.
Animal control efforts at the airport. I'm sorry I have so many, but you just had all kinds of questions when I read your park report.
I need to write these things better, don't I?
Yeah. Put more answers in.
Leave stuff out.
Yep, that's what it- I knew that's what Bill was thinking. I only have 10 more notes, just kidding.
We, Josh, an employee of ours, there was a free, essentially a class on animal control, wildlife that's out at the airport, and what impacts those have to pilots and airport. And so we went to a class down in Jeff City to talk about what kind of MoDOT suggests, what Jeff City and other airports are doing to control wildlife.
Yeah,
So.
okay. And then on page 63, the next page, 4th Street project, and I really like this. You're looking at how to make one of the entrances into town look better, and so
Yeah.
I highly encourage that, so keep us informed of how that's going, if you would.
Okay. Yeah, I just included that. It's a project that I've been discussing around City Hall, but just looking to see if it's got an interest in Mr. Johnson's mind as well. So.
Okay. And then at the bottom of that page, there's a couple others here, but they're minor. The cracks on the support of the water tower. When are we going to do that?
Yeah, we need to do that this year, don't we?
Yeah.
It keeps appearing on my list because we haven't got it done yet, and it needs to get done finally. So
Maybe you can chip seal it.
huh?
Chip seal it. Okay, and then
Hopefully it's not on here on my next report, but it's gonna hang on there till I actually get the dang thing
well,
done.
we need to
so.
see at least one more time is, hey, we got this sealed finally, or
Yeah.
however you want to say it. And then you have this report on the wastewater treatment plant improvements. I think this is really nice. I like the way that's put together.
Let's go.
I do have one question, though. They're saying they're not asking for any extension, days added, or anything of that nature, but we're at 10% of the work completed and 20% of our schedule.
Yeah,
Any issue?
you know, it's been talked about. The contractor gets a little touchy when you talk about it a little bit because he doesn't see it as issue. When I say contractor, that's the on the job guy that's down there versus the guy in the office. You know, the guy that's actually doing the work feels comfortable.
Okay.
The guy, you know, the guy in the office making the schedule. By his schedule, he's behind. So, anyways, he's not nervous. We've talked about it enough that he knows that it's on our mind. So, hopefully, it doesn't become an issue. You know, there's plenty of days left in this job, but we don't want to run up on you know, the due date, and all of a sudden they're asking for more time.
Right, and weather can play an effect and get you caught up or behind. So I really like that approach. And I also failed to mention on pages 26 through 30, and this is in Daryl's report about the Southwestern Public Power Resources Association and some of their things. So that's a good report. I'd like to see. Can you keep us up to date on how that's going? Or you got any update on since this?
What's that?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Sorry I had so many folks.
It's fine.
No problem.
That's fine. No.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Thank you. Have a motion and a second to approve Director Administration Report. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
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 All those opposed, no. Okay, it stands approved. Thank you. Now go on to board and commission meeting reports. Historic Preservation Commission met on May 17. Councilwoman McClure, I believe you were in attendance. You want to give us a little update?
Yes, historical preservation minutes. Be patient with me. It's the first time I'm going through here. I don't want to read it all. I'll just hit the high points. The meeting was on May 17th. First time I'd actually attended it. Main thing was the commission feels that they need to go through all their ordinance. The state of Missouri felt that some of our commissions will need to be addressed. We'll be developing an ongoing survey identifying historical properties and certification of approvals. The ordinances were being updated, what's going on, and quite extensive. It's interesting. It's a good time for me to start because I'm learning a lot. The commission began going through the state's revised version of the Fulton Historical Preservation Ordinances and noting changes that need to be made to meet the state's requirements. Basically, that's the ongoing. That's about all that I got out of it right there, except they are hardworking, and it's interesting, and I'm going to enjoy it, I think. And thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Recluse?
Any questions?
Hearing none, we'll move on to Public Utility Board, met on yesterday. Darryl, would you like to kind of give us a little update? You can talk a little bit about your SBA meeting then. I know that's one of the things you talked to the board about.
Okay, the U-Board did meet yesterday here at City Hall. One thing before I forget to mention it, we've talked about LED lights before. The lights downtown, we're having some ballast failures. I believe Samantha told me we bought 9 so far this year at about $300 a piece. The newer LED lights do not require ballast. We work with Butler Supply here locally, and we have 4 bulbs. They're at Brooklyn Pizza on that corner, and they're burning tonight. If we stay here long enough, we'll see them when we leave.
Darryl, what do they cost?
They're about $80 a bulb.
How's the life expectancy of them?
The life expectancy, I don't remember. They're quite a bit longer than our existing bulbs. Our existing bulbs are about $30 to $40 a piece.
I bought some LED the other day, it said 22 years of life expectancy.
Awesome.
The payout on them, using a nickel for power cost, on 100 fixtures is a little over 2.25 years. That's without counting that ballast.
How much is the ballast?
$300.
Yeah.
How much?
So you've already paid for it. By not having to have
But
the
I don't think
ballast.
they're going to match. I think it's going to be a very white light compared to our yellow lights that's down there now.
Oh, really?
But there is a couple different bulbs. One's a little higher wattage than the other. I think we have the high wattage bulb now in the test, but the 4-post lamp at the corner of Brooklyn Pizza does have the LED light in it. We try to put it in the middle so you can kind of get a good comparison from all the directions. Good part is we can remove the old ballast and we cut it out, so we could save them for spare ballast. But we did put them in, so I'd like everybody to look at them, see what you think, contact Mr. Johnson or the mayor and see what you think of them. One other thing we talked about was the 1st of June, we're really watching the prices in the power market because Wood River in Alton, Illinois is closing. Dynegy is closing it down. That's 500 megawatts of coal that's going offline. And it wasn't a mothball plant, it has been running. And then about 1,000 megawatts of Prairie States is being redirected to PJM. So
Redirected what?
to PJM. They're going to pseudo-tie it to PJM, those customers are, to the East Coast market. So in the St. Louis area, we're going to lose about 1,500 megawatts. So, and that all happens 1st of June, because that's the first part of the planning year. So we're really not sure what's going to happen with prices when that occurs. We are talking with SWPA and Sykeston about the Sykeston contracts, because Sykeston's thinking about, or they're going to have to join some organization, MISO or Southwest Power Pool. Looks like they're going to Southwest Power Pool. And there is some SPA facilities involved in it. So when we was at the SPRA meeting last week, we did talk to SPA and get their thoughts on some things, and we'll continue to talk to them.
Harold, has been any further looking into wind?
We're looking a little bit into wind now. There's some
I just
Kansas wind we're looking at.
Yeah, I just got back from Arizona. My gosh, you would not believe the towers that are sitting out there, the big fans on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Miles and miles and miles. They had some paperwork that you could read. And each one of those towers, they said, produced 1,000 something. I don't know, like megawatts.
Okay.
My gosh.
The nuclear plant puts out.
We have been looking at some.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Mr. Johnson, I talked about it late this afternoon
I
for
don't
just a
think
few
that'd be
minutes.
going
So.
that high. You mentioned Prairie States. How does the financial situation with Peabody Coal affecting?
Peabody Coal had such a small interest left in the plant that,
Okay.
yeah, it was almost out.
Okay. I didn't think they were, but I just wondered. Thank you.
Any questions? It's not dark yet.
Yeah, we need to talk some longer, right?
Very good. Thank you, Darrell. Good job.
I'll bet there was.
I do not have any appointments this evening. Announcements, again, June 1. Many of you have signed up for the MML Central Division meeting. Surplus auction, we've heard earlier, is June the 11th. This one I'd really like the public to know about. We'll be putting advertisements in the paper, et cetera, so they know about it. The city will be hosting an open house at the new warehouse to introduce it to the public on Tuesday, June the 14th, prior to our council meeting. We'll start at 3:30. We'll tentatively have a ribbon cutting at 4 p.m., or excuse me, 4:30, and then we will terminate at 6 p.m. so we can be back down here at 6:30 for council meeting for that evening. So
Ribbon cutting's at what time?
ribbon cutting 4:30.
4:30. Thank you.
Yeah. We will have golf carts available for mobility impaired folks, so we can get them around and so forth. So And then, of course, anyone that needs special accommodations, if they'll please let us know. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I have one thing. I'd like to thank Jenny Gray for being here tonight with the Fulton Sun. Is that right, Ms. Gray? Okay. I'd just like to say thank you to the newspaper. I
You just
read
want
it-
your
I
name in
read
the
it-
paper.
I read it all the time. I read it every day. I love it. I love the coverage you're doing for our city, and we do appreciate it. I do. Thank you very much.
I think we'll all ride on that. Thank you. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. I do not have a need for executive session this evening, so please, one more item.
Motion to adjourn.
Very good.
Second.
Very good. I have a motion and a second to adjourn, and we do stand adjourned.
All right.
Hey, Bill.